Good morning, students. I welcome you all, the M.Com second semester students, for the lesson number 36. The concept is hypothesis in research methodology in the subject of research methodology. I am your teacher, Dr. K.V. Somnath, GS College of Commerce, Wardha, Maharashtra. Let us first of all know what is hypothesis. Hypothesis is usually considered as the principal instrument in research. Its main function is to suggest new experiments and observations. A mere assumption or supposition to be proved or disproved. For a researcher, hypothesis is a formal question that he or she intends to resolve. Quite often, a research hypothesis is a predictive statement capable of being tested by scientific methods that relates an independent variable to some dependent methods. Thus, we may conclude that a hypothesis states that we are looking for and is a proposition which can be put to test to determine its validity. Now the contributions of hypothesis. The main contributions are here like this. Number one, it provides clarity to the research problem and research objectives. The second one, it describes, explains or predicts the expected results or outcome of the research. Number three, it indicates the types of research design. Number four, it directs the research study process. Number five, it identifies the population of the research study that is to be investigated or examined. And lastly, it facilitates data collection, data analysis, and data interpretation. With this, the overall observation of these contributions, we may see that hypothesis is a very key role player at every stage and step of the research process, right? Starting from the research problem identification to the presentation of the research findings and suggestions and summary of the entire research study. Now, the functions and types of hypothesis. The main functions are it enables an investigator to start the research work. Second, it may lead to formulations of another hypothesis. Third one, it leads to interpret results, drawing conclusions related to original purpose. I will go for a small example here it is. It enables an investigator to start the research work. See, whenever we have taken a particular topic for research, there is something in our mind and there is some knowledge in our mind. Maybe it is acquired through observation or the survey of literature or from the research work which has been done prior to our research activity, right? The second one is it may lead to formulations of another hypothesis. I will tell you. For example, we are doing a research project on the socio-economic life of the auto rickshaw drivers in Wardha city, for example. So we have taken that the socio-economic life of the auto rickshaw drivers in Wardha city is not that much of good, right? That is one hypothesis what we have taken. At the end of the research work, we have found out that it is not that much of bad, there is something good. So, again, the other person who do that research activity again after some time on the similar topics, then they can take a conclusion that what we have thought an assumption or a hypothesis statement has been proved to be not exactly correct. There is something wrong in it. So the revised hypothesis, what we have found out at the time of ending of our research project is, it is somewhat good. And the another researcher when starts the similar activity of the research project with the same similar topic or the same topic after some time state that it is not so much of bad, it is good. So like that, it may lead to formulation of another hypothesis. Means, for example, we have taken one hypothesis, it is proved wrong or being accepted. After some time, there is another hypothesis. Next one is it relates to interpretation of results drawing conclusions related to original purpose. Actually, so finally we will come to a conclusion on any topic that it is either accepted or rejected what we have assumed at the start of our research activity. Now let us go for the discussion of the types of hypothesis. There are 7 categories of hypothesis: simple hypothesis, complex hypothesis, empirical hypothesis, null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, logical hypothesis, and statistical hypothesis. We will go for one by one. After that, the categories of hypothesis. Hypothesis can be categorized under 3 categories: the research hypothesis, null hypothesis, and testable hypothesis. Right? Now, the subcategories of research hypothesis, where generally we are talking about research methodology, so we will go for the more concentration on the research hypothesis. So the research hypothesis can be categorized under 5 categories: associative hypothesis, causal hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis, directional hypothesis, and simple hypothesis. Now let us go. Simple hypothesis. Simple hypothesis is that one in which there exists a relationship between two variables. One is called independent variable or cause, and the other is called as dependent variable or effect. Cause and effect relationship, right? Next one is complex hypothesis. The complex hypothesis is that one in which a relationship among variables exists. There are so many variables in activity. So there may be a relationship existence among and between the variables. In this type, dependent and independent variables are more than two. Right? Next one is empirical hypothesis. Empirical, which means that it is based on evidence. In scientific method, the word empirical refers to the use of working hypothesis that can be tested through observation and experiment. So empirical data is produced by experiment and observation. Mostly this is done in the case of the scientific research or technological research or medical research like that. The next one is question form of hypothesis. Most of the times we find in the research works of the people that the hypothesis is defined in a form of a question. It is the simplest form of empirical hypothesis. In simple case of investigation, research are adequately implemented by resuming a question. Means our research itself starts with a problem identification and a question mark. Henceforth, the question form of hypothesis is mostly used by some of the researchers while they go for any research study. The next one is null hypothesis. Null, the hypothesis that there is no significant difference between specified populations and any observed difference being due to sampling or experimental error. It is denoted by H0, which is we call it as null hypothesis. For example, the same example what we have taken, a socio-economic study of the life of auto rickshaw drivers in Varda city, and we have assumed that the life of the socio-economic life of the auto rickshaw drivers in Varda city is not appropriate, not good, not correct, not better. But at the end, we found that the same what we thought is the same, means the socio-economic life of the auto rickshaw drivers is not appropriate, not good, not correct, not supposed to be better, not better. So our hypothesis has been accepted. Here means there is no difference between our assumption and our findings. So such type of, if there is no difference between our assumption or the hypothesis and our assumed hypothesis and the find out of the research work outcome. So both are equal. There is no difference at all. So such type of hypothesis is called as null hypothesis. Next one is alternative hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis denoted by H1 or HA. It is the hypothesis that sample observations are influenced by some non-random cause. For example, the result of our study on auto rickshaw drivers is concluded that there is a better improvement on the part of the auto rickshaw driver socio-economic conditions or living conditions. Then our null hypothesis is rejected and our alternate hypothesis is accepted. The next one is means the alternate hypothesis is exactly the opposite of the null hypothesis. The next one is statistical hypothesis. A hypothesis which can be verified statistically called statistical hypothesis. The statement would be logical or illogical, but if statistics verifies it, it will be statistical. It means by applying statistical approaches and methods and tools and techniques, if it is verified, our hypothesis is verified, it is called as statistical hypothesis. Next one is directional hypothesis. Directional hypothesis predicts the direction of the relationship between the independent and dependent variables. In which direction? Positive direction, negative direction, upward or downward, or horizontal or vertical. How the direction of the hypothesis is, if it is verified, it is comes under directional hypothesis. The next one is non-directional hypothesis. The non-directional hypothesis predicts the relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable, but does not specify the direction of the relationship. Here, the direction of relationship is not specified, but it will go for verification. The next one is causal hypothesis. Causal hypothesis predicts a cause and effect relationship or interaction between the independent variable and the dependent variable. This hypothesis predicts the effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable, like in regression analysis, how A is depend on B or how X is depend on Y. Like that, in this causal relationship, causal hypothesis also will go for verifying how one variable is depending on the other, and the degree of dependency or relevancy is going to be found out. Next one is associative hypothesis. The associative hypothesis predicts an associative relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable. When there is a change in any one of the variables, changes also occurs in the observational other variables. Say for example, we generally go for correlation studies like multiple correlation or rank correlation or some other correlation. So here the associativeness, how one is associated with the other variable in the research study where we have conducted some data collection is made, and how the variables are dependent to each other or independent to each other or related to each other or depending on each other. So the relationship between the variables and among the variables is also studied, and such hypothesis is called as associative hypothesis. I will give an example. The educational qualifications of the auto rickshaw drivers do have a relativity on the part of the socio-economic living conditions of the auto rickshaw drivers in Varda city. So there is an associativeness, education and the socio-economic relationship. So this is an example for associative hypothesis. Now let us go for the characteristics of hypothesis. A hypothesis must be capable of verification, right? Whatever you assume at the start of your research project as a hypothesis, that should be framed in such a way that it could be verified. If could not be verified, there is no use of forming that particular hypothesis statement. The second one is the hypothesis must be relation to the existing body of knowledge. See, your hypothesis should be within the framework of your research topic. It should not be out of your research topic. For example, we are studying about the socio-economic life of auto rickshaw drivers, and we have taken some other thing like the socio-economic status of the villagers in Varda, rural villages of Varda Taluka. So there is no use of it. So you should be in a framework in which your topic is related to. Next one is hypothesis needs to be precise, simple and specific. So you formulate the hypothesis statement in such a way that it should be compact, it should be easy to understand, it should be specific and pinpointed to the research study. In such a way, if your hypothesis statement is there, it should be called as a good hypothesis statement or an appropriate hypothesis statement. I hope you might have learned effectively what is hypothesis and what is the need for formulation of hypothesis and how important an hypothesis and what is the role of hypothesis in every aspect of the research methodology. So with this, I take you leave from you. Thank you. Thank you very much. All the best. Stay safe and protected. Thank you all.